Hello, everyone. I'm Prashanth. I'm one of the maintainers of Signos. Um, so previously, I've worked for companies, open source company like dgraph and the company like called Rapido, and across spectrum of various roles, varying from backend, DevOps, and DevRel. So just in case you guys don't know about Signos, here's a short intro about it. Signos is an open source vendor neutral APM tool that is built natively on OpenTelemetry and supports various data formats like OTLP, Agar, Prometheus backend metrics exporters, etc. So basically, Signos can be used to collect, store, and visualize all of these telemetry data. And so you will have like a correlated traces and metrics that you don't get across like when you have multiple stack with different set of tools. So that's where Signos will be like a one-stop solution for the same. And apart from that, we also have like support custom dashboards, alerts, and service map, as well as exception pays. And if you want to get involved with Signos, here are the details. And if you are looking for contributing, then check out for the good first issue tag. All right, let's get started with the talk then. So here's the agenda of the talk. So we'll have these we'll go through these and a little bit of intro in the first, and we'll go with the hands-on of how it goes. So what's the problem with the current test environment that we have? So first of all, setting up a proper like end-to-end test environment for PRs has not been an easy task. It takes up a huge time to spin up an environment. So we have an ever-increasing cost with the increase in number of PRs that you have. And in case users opt out for a single test environment, which is what I've seen with many companies that they do, which is not ideal because it doesn't provide the full visibility of the complete stack and the runtime environment, as well as it will be a static environment, so which is not that good. And next, we have individual test environments are important. We get that, but why? So first, it helps in to decrease in the time to detect and resolve issues that you might have. So dedicated and isolated environments. So this will be a complete environment where you'll have your full set of end-to-end tests that you'll be doing here. And you have controlled resource uses. So that means when you have a PR raised, you'll have the environment spinned up. And when you don't have anything, so you won't be the bills won't be going up because the environment won't be up, when you don't have any changes. We'll have a dynamic PR environments. And in the last, we have a bonus for open source project, which would be using GitHub Actions. We'll have a no-cost environment. So a little bit of basic intro regarding GitHub Actions and LocalTunnel. So I suppose all of you must be familiar with GitHub Actions, which is in-house CI/CD platform by GitHub. And its usage is free for all of the public repositories. And LocalTunnel. So LocalTunnel is an open source tunneling tool. So using which we can easily make a web app service on a local development machine publicly available. All right, so let's go through a quick demo of the test environment for Kubernetes and Docker. So we'll have a look around the YAML file for GitHub Actions and see it in action. Right. So is it? All right. So I'm taking this simple Flask application with MongoDB as an example. So where I have integrated the workflows as well as I have made some environment changes to support it. So let's go through what and all setup we had to do in the environment to support the no-cost test environment. So we mainly had a Docker file, so where we'll be using which we'll be building an images with the changes. And we made little changes to the Docker Compose file to support the label, the tag from the environment. So here you can see. So if it's not passed, then it'll pick the latest. So apart from that, we have a Helm chart, which basically consists of manifest files or the templates for the same. Right. So let's just skim through. So what are the so what are the components, like what are the components or steps involved to get it up for end-to-end environment up for Docker? So we take the trigger as a pull request with the label, which will make sure that the action doesn't run for every pull request, but only those with the labels. And the label has to be like OK to test. So which can be done by the maintainers of the repositories or like basically admins. And we basically set one environment called a Docker tag. We give like a pull hyphen, that's the event number as a Docker tag. So that we use it to build the image, as you can see in the build Docker image step. And next we basically deploy. And after that, we basically generate a unique subdomain URL. So and using so that will pass it to LocalTunnel, which should have a tunneling like set up in the from the local host to the publicly accessible internet. So these are like in brief, these are the steps involved. So if you switch for Kubernetes, so we will be using K3D or K3S cluster. So rest of the steps will remain the same. Build the image, set up the environments, build the image, set up the cluster or whatever environment. So Docker is already there in the base Ubuntu that we take. And so we inject the images in case of Kubernetes and deploy the application. And lastly, we just basically tunnel to the unique URL. And so as a bonus point, what we have is a remove label. So what it does is, like, if you have some, so if you're running some test environment and you had some additional changes pushed to the same PR. So using this, what will happen is it will remove the label and it will basically invalidate the previous state. And you can add the another OK to test label again, and it will spin up another test environment for the same. So this changes already public here in this repo. If you are interested to have a look around this, you can go here. All right. So let's make some changes and let's see this in action. All right. All right. So here I have removed one of the comments just to like trigger this. So I'll call it here. I'll create a new branch. Patch 1. Switch here. I hope this is visible or not. All right. So I'll just say dummy changes to this, and I'll just commit it. Okay, so I go back to the repo here, and I'll be able to see, okay, I'll be able to raise a pull request for the same. And I create a pull request. Now, by default, when you raise a pull request, it won't run. So to execute it, one of the maintainers of the repo has to like add a label OK to test. So and just click on this. And after that, it should start running the end-to-end environments, like in Docker and Kubernetes. And it'll use the Docker Compose file and the Helm chart to get this up and running. All right, so it should take like less than a minute. So it's all right. Deploying the application should be quick. Okay, so we see it here. Let's open this application. So click on the continue. All right, what happened? Okay, something went wrong. All right, so ideally, like this application which should show up here, but okay, something around here. So that's actually the process of it. So LocalTunnel had some downtime actually recently for some time, so it could be because of that. So LocalTunnel also has the backend server, which you could implement yourself to self-host instead of relying on the public tunneling that what they provide. So that is down. Like, so it was down for like a couple of weeks previously. So I think now just the timing. Morning it was working. All right. This is actually it mostly. So this is the steps. You can look at the repo. You can see the code. You can have the server implementation, which should get you up and running. And in the end, I have like just a thank you.